Breakfast choices shape your metabolism, energy, and longevity for the entire day. The first meal you eat after waking up is not just a morning ritual, it sets the biochemical tone for your body's internal operations. When you open your eyes each morning, your metabolism is like an orchestra waiting for the conductor's cue. That cue comes from your first bite of food. What you choose to eat in those first waking hours determines how your body manages energy, regulates hormones, burns fat, builds muscle, and even how your brain performs. The timing, composition, and quality of your breakfast can influence everything from your mood to your lifespan because metabolism is not simply about calories. It is about chemistry, balance, and cellular communication. When you sleep, your body enters a fasting state. Your insulin levels drop, your digestive system slows down, and your body shifts into repair mode. As soon as you eat breakfast, you signal your metabolism to transition from repair to performance. This metabolic switch is critical because it dictates how efficiently your body uses energy throughout the day. If your first meal consists of refined carbohydrates, sugar, and processed fats, you create a metabolic roller coaster. Your blood sugar spikes quickly, insulin surges to control it, and then the inevitable crash leaves you tired, hungry, and craving more food. But if your breakfast provides steady, nutrient-dense fuel, rich in fiber, protein, and healthy fats, you stabilize blood sugar, sustain energy, and promote fat metabolism instead of fat storage. The human body is designed to respond to food inputs in highly specific ways. When you consume a balanced breakfast that includes foods like oatmeal, eggs, nuts, or fruits, you activate pathways that regulate glucose and lipid metabolism. For instance, fiber from oats slows down digestion, reducing the rate at which glucose enters your bloodstream. Protein from eggs or Greek yogurt increases satiety hormones like peptide YY and GLP-1, which reduce hunger and keep you full longer. Healthy fats from avocados or seeds help maintain steady energy by slowing gastric emptying and supporting hormone production. These interactions ensure that your body runs efficiently without the erratic energy swings that drain focus and willpower. Metabolism is not a static process, it adapts continuously based on what you feed it. Over time, consistently poor breakfast choices can reprogram your metabolism to favor fat storage, insulin resistance, and inflammation. Processed breakfast foods like pastries, sugary cereals, and bacon strips might give a quick energy boost, but they set off a cascade of metabolic stress. Excess sugar increases insulin demand, forcing the pancreas to work harder. Repeated exposure to this stress leads to insulin resistance, one of the early stages of metabolic dysfunction that eventually contributes to type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Moreover, processed meats contain nitrates and advanced glycation end products that can increase oxidative stress and damage blood vessels, silently shortening your health span. On the other hand, a nutrient-rich breakfast can activate longevity pathways in your body. Compounds in plant-based foods stimulate AMPK, an enzyme that enhances fat burning and cellular repair. Polyphenols in berries and green tea activate sirtuins, the same longevity genes associated with fasting and caloric restriction. These biochemical processes are nature's way of protecting your body from aging at a cellular level. By simply choosing the right breakfast, you can trigger these mechanisms and start your day with your biology working for you instead of against you. Your breakfast also has a profound effect on your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs metabolism, hormone release, and even immune function. Eating at the right time helps synchronize this rhythm, optimizing how your body processes nutrients. Research shows that consuming a substantial, balanced breakfast supports better glucose control and energy utilization compared to eating heavier meals later in the day. When you eat breakfast early, you align food intake with your body's natural hormonal cycles. Cortisol, a hormone that promotes alertness and energy release, peaks in the morning. Providing your body with the right nutrients at that time ensures the energy produced is used efficiently, keeping your metabolism active and balanced throughout the day. Energy is not just a physical sensation, it is a reflection of metabolic harmony. When you eat foods that support stable glucose levels and mitochondrial function, your energy feels consistent and natural. Whole grains, fruits, and proteins provide micronutrients like magnesium, B vitamins, and coenzyme Q10 that help mitochondria, the energy factories of your cells, work efficiently. Conversely, refined sugars and processed fats overload mitochondria, leading to oxidative stress and fatigue. Many people reach for caffeine or sugary snacks mid-morning not because they need more calories, but because their breakfast failed to sustain metabolic energy. A properly composed breakfast removes that dependency and gives you endurance that lasts for hours. Your brain is one of the largest consumers of glucose, and breakfast profoundly affects its performance. A steady release of glucose from complex carbohydrates fuels cognitive function, memory, and focus. Protein helps synthesize neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which regulate motivation and mood. Omega-3 fats support neuronal membrane health, ensuring efficient communication between brain cells. A breakfast rich in these nutrients enhances mental clarity and emotional balance. In contrast, skipping breakfast or eating high sugar foods can cause brain fog, irritability, and sluggishness because your brain oscillates between energy surges and crashes. The brain thrives on consistency, and your morning meal provides the foundation for that stability. Longevity is closely linked to metabolic health, and breakfast plays a larger role in this than most people realize. Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are key drivers of aging, and both can be influenced by the foods you eat in the morning. Antioxidant-rich foods such as berries, nuts, and green tea reduce oxidative damage to cells, while omega-3 fatty acids lower inflammatory markers. A Mediterranean-style breakfast with olive oil, whole grains, and vegetables has been shown to improve vascular health and decrease the risk of metabolic syndrome. Over time, these small, consistent choices accumulate into measurable differences in lifespan and quality of life. The body's repair systems, from DNA maintenance to stem cell renewal, depend on a stable metabolic environment, one that starts with what you eat after waking. Hormonal balance is another dimension influenced by breakfast. Insulin, cortisol, ghrelin, and leptin, the hormones that control hunger, stress, and metabolism, are all sensitive to your first meal. A protein-rich breakfast reduces ghrelin, the hunger hormone, helping you control appetite naturally. Balanced carbohydrates prevent cortisol spikes, keeping stress levels stable. Leptin sensitivity improves when your body receives adequate nutrients early in the day, supporting long-term weight management. These hormonal shifts don't just affect body composition, they affect how you feel, how you think, and how efficiently your body converts food into energy. The right breakfast is not about restriction but regulation. Breakfast also influences how your body responds to physical activity. A meal rich in complex carbohydrates and proteins before exercise improves endurance, muscle recovery, and fat oxidation. It provides the amino acids needed for repair and the glucose required for sustained performance. Conversely, a high-fat, low-nutrient breakfast may leave muscles deprived of glycogen, causing early fatigue. Athletes and everyday individuals alike benefit from understanding that breakfast is not merely preparation for the day. It is preparation for how your body will perform, recover, and adapt to challenges. The relationship between breakfast and longevity also involves metabolic flexibility, the ability of your body to switch between burning glucose and fat for fuel. People who skip breakfast or eat unbalanced meals often have impaired flexibility, leading to fatigue and weight gain. However, those who eat nutrient-dense, moderate breakfasts tend to maintain better metabolic adaptability. This flexibility supports cardiovascular health, brain function, and efficient energy use, all of which contribute to a longer, healthier life. Your metabolism is like an engine. The quality of your morning fuel determines how smoothly it runs and how long it lasts. Even hydration plays a role in how breakfast shapes your metabolism. Water is essential for digestion, nutrient absorption, and cellular energy production. Drinking water or herbal tea before and during breakfast helps kick-start digestion and supports detoxification. Dehydration, even mild, slows metabolism and impairs cognitive performance. Including hydrating foods like fruits or smoothies with natural electrolytes can amplify metabolic efficiency and mental alertness. The social and emotional context of breakfast also affects your metabolic health. Eating mindfully, without rushing or distraction, allows your body to properly activate digestive enzymes and hormonal responses. Stressful, hurried eating triggers the sympathetic nervous system, diverting blood flow away from digestion and impairing nutrient absorption. Taking time to enjoy breakfast in a calm environment enhances metabolic benefits and creates a sense of grounding that lasts throughout the day. The act of eating slowly and consciously reinforces your connection to food as nourishment, not merely consumption. The quality of your breakfast reflects the quality of your relationship with your body. Each morning offers a chance to reset your internal balance, replenish what the night's fasting consumed, and prepare your system for optimal function. Your metabolism, energy, and longevity are not governed by luck or genetics alone. They are shaped, meal by meal, by the choices you make at the start of each day. Food is medicine. Every bite can activate or suppress your body's health defenses. When we think about eating, we often focus on flavor, fullness, or convenience, but deep within each bite lies a biochemical story that directly influences how our body functions. Every cell, tissue, and organ depends on the signals we send through the food we consume. These signals can either ignite healing processes or silently contribute to damage and disease. Science has revealed that food is not just fuel, it is information. It talks to our genes, our microbiome, our immune system, and even our blood vessels. When you eat, you are not just satisfying hunger. You are instructing your body on how to perform. Think about the power of what happens when you take a simple meal. The nutrients, phytonutrients, antioxidants, and bioactive compounds interact with your body's health defense systems. These include angiogenesis, which controls the growth of blood vessels, regeneration, which allows stem cells to repair tissues, the microbiome, which maintains gut and immune balance, DNA protection, which prevents cellular mutations, and immunity itself, which guards against infections and abnormal cells. When these systems are nourished, your body becomes resilient. When they are neglected or overwhelmed by unhealthy choices, vulnerability begins to take root. Let's take angiogenesis as an example. This is your body's natural process for growing new blood vessels when you need them and pruning away the ones you don't. The foods you eat can help maintain this balance. Tomatoes, green tea, soy, and certain fruits contain natural inhibitors of abnormal blood vessel growth, which is crucial in preventing diseases like cancer, where excessive angiogenesis feeds tumors. On the other hand, healthy angiogenesis supports wound healing, heart health, and tissue repair. So every bite of food you take can tip the scale in one direction or another, healing or harm, without you even realizing it. Next is regeneration, the body's ability to renew itself through stem cells. Foods like dark chocolate, blueberries, and extra virgin olive oil can stimulate your stem cells to repair tissues and organs. When you eat these foods, you are literally feeding your body's capacity to regenerate. Contrast that with ultra-processed foods, high sugar intake, and excessive saturated fats, which can impair regenerative functions and accelerate aging. The body has an incredible ability to heal, but it needs the right instructions, and those instructions come from what's on your plate. The microbiome, your internal ecosystem of trillions of bacteria, also plays a vital role in your health defenses. What you feed your gut bacteria determines whether they will help you or harm you. Fiber-rich foods, fermented products, and plant-based diets encourage the growth of beneficial microbes that produce short-chain fatty acids, which reduce inflammation, enhance immunity, and even improve mental clarity. However, when you eat highly processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and excessive animal fats, you feed harmful bacteria that release toxins, weaken your gut barrier, and trigger inflammation. Every mouthful is a message to your microbiome, and the microbes respond accordingly, either by protecting you or by eroding your defenses. DNA protection is another hidden defense system activated by food. Our DNA is constantly under attack by environmental stress, pollution, and internal metabolic processes that generate free radicals. Antioxidants and polyphenols found in fruits, vegetables, and tea act as guardians, neutralizing these threats and preventing mutations that can lead to disease. For example, the lycopene in tomatoes, catechins in green tea, and sulforaphane in broccoli sprouts can activate DNA repair pathways, strengthening your cellular integrity. Conversely, excessive consumption of charred meats, sugary snacks, and alcohol introduces compounds that damage DNA, accelerate aging, and increase the risk of chronic illnesses. The choice between repair and damage begins with what you decide to eat. Immunity, the body's frontline defense, is profoundly influenced by diet. The immune system relies on vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals to function at its best. Foods rich in vitamin C, D, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids enhance immune surveillance and responsiveness. Mushrooms, garlic, and citrus fruits contain compounds that activate immune cells and increase the body's ability to identify and eliminate harmful invaders. Yet, when the diet is dominated by processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and trans fats, the immune system becomes sluggish and misdirected, often attacking healthy tissue and contributing to autoimmune conditions. Once again, your food choices determine the strength and precision of your body's natural defenses. Food interacts with the body on a molecular level. Consider the concept of bioactive compounds. These are naturally occurring chemicals in food that have powerful biological effects. Curcumin from turmeric reduces inflammation and oxidative stress. Epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG from green tea inhibits cancer cell growth. Resveratrol from grapes enhances blood flow and cellular longevity. These are not drugs, they are foods you can find in any kitchen or market. When you consume them regularly, they become part of your body's defense network. Each bite strengthens the internal systems that keep you vibrant, energized, and protected. Even the timing of your meals matters. Emerging research shows that when you eat can influence how well your body uses food as medicine. Eating late at night, for instance, can disrupt metabolic hormones and lead to fat accumulation, while eating earlier in the day aligns with your body's circadian rhythm, optimizing nutrient absorption and energy production. It's not just what you eat, but when and how you eat that determines the outcome. The relationship between food and health is not static, it is dynamic, responsive, and deeply personal. Food has the ability to turn genes on and off, a field known as nutrigenomics. Your genes are not your destiny, they are your potential. The environment you create through your dietary choices can activate genes that protect against disease and silence those that promote it. For instance, compounds in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale can modulate gene expression linked to detoxification and cancer prevention. The omega-3 fatty acids in fish can influence genes associated with inflammation control. What you choose to eat is, in essence, a form of daily genetic engineering for health. Our ancestors intuitively understood that food was healing long before modern science confirmed it. Ancient traditions across cultures, from Ayurvedic practices to traditional Chinese medicine, recognized the medicinal power of plants, herbs, and natural ingredients. Modern research has now provided molecular explanations for what these traditions practiced for centuries. The turmeric in Indian curries, the green tea in Asian diets, the olive oil in Mediterranean cuisine. All of them carry compounds that protect, repair, and rejuvenate the body at a cellular level. The wisdom of the past aligns beautifully with the discoveries of modern medicine. Unfortunately, today's food environment often disconnects us from this understanding. Fast food, processed snacks, and sugar-laden beverages dominate our choices, and the convenience they offer comes at the cost of our health defenses. These foods send signals that promote inflammation, disrupt metabolism, and impair immunity. The result is a slow erosion of our body's natural resilience. The good news is that the opposite is also true when you return to whole, nutrient-dense, and naturally colorful foods. Your body responds almost immediately. Within days, blood sugar stabilizes, inflammation decreases, and energy improves. The power to heal is not locked in a pill bottle, it is found in your kitchen. Every meal is a choice between defense and damage, between health and harm. The plate in front of you is your first line of medicine, your daily prescription for vitality. The vibrant colors of fruits and vegetables, the healthy fats in nuts and fish, the fibers in whole grains, and the antioxidants in herbs and spices all speak the language of healing. Your body listens carefully to every word of that language. What you decide to eat is a conversation between you and your biology, and that conversation determines how well you live, how long you live, and how strong you feel each day. Understanding the truth behind common foods empowers you to eat with purpose, not habit. Most people eat what they have always eaten, repeating the same patterns passed down from family traditions, cultural norms, or clever marketing campaigns. Over time, these habits become automatic, and breakfast becomes more about routine than nourishment. The truth, however, is that every food carries a story, a biological impact that can either promote vitality or quietly compromise it. Knowing what your food truly does inside your body transforms eating from a mindless act into a conscious choice. Awareness is power, and when you understand the reality behind what's on your plate, you reclaim control over your health, your energy, and your future. For decades, we've been told that certain breakfast foods are inherently good or bad, but science paints a more nuanced picture. Take oatmeal, for instance. Marketed as a heart-healthy breakfast, it can indeed lower cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar when it's whole and unprocessed. But many commercial versions are far from that. Instant oatmeal packets loaded with sugar, flavorings, and artificial additives can cause blood sugar spikes that drain your energy by mid-morning. The same grain that could fuel your body becomes a source of fatigue when stripped of its natural fiber and nutrients. The truth about oatmeal is not found in the package design, but in the ingredients list and preparation method. Whole oats cooked slowly, perhaps with nuts and fruit, activate your body's defenses. Sugary, processed oats do the opposite. Eggs are another misunderstood food. Once vilified for their cholesterol content, eggs are now recognized as one of nature's most complete sources of nutrition. The yolk contains essential fats, vitamins, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which protect your eyes and brain. Yet the benefits of eggs depend heavily on their source and preparation. Eggs from pasture-raised hens have higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and lower inflammatory markers than those from factory farms. The way you cook them also matters. Boiling or poaching preserves nutrients, while frying in processed oils can destroy their delicate structure. Understanding these subtleties helps you move beyond simplistic labels of good or bad, and choose foods that align with your biological needs rather than convenience or habit. Bacon, perhaps the most controversial breakfast food, reveals another layer of truth. Its smoky aroma and savory taste make it irresistible, yet it's also high in nitrates, sodium, and saturated fat. Processed meats have been linked to inflammation, oxidative stress, and increased risk of chronic diseases when consumed frequently. However, occasional consumption of high-quality, nitrate-free bacon from responsibly raised animals is not the same as eating heavily processed supermarket varieties daily. The difference lies in understanding moderation, source quality, and frequency. Knowing the science behind the food allows you to enjoy flavor while respecting your body's limits. Bacon itself is not the enemy, ignorance of its impact is. Dairy products, too, have a complicated reputation. For some, they are a rich source of calcium, vitamin D, and protein. For others, they trigger inflammation, bloating, or skin issues. The truth is that human responses to dairy are highly individual, influenced by genetics, gut microbiome, and lactose tolerance. Fermented dairy products like yogurt and kefir can support gut health by introducing beneficial bacteria, while heavily processed cheeses and sweetened milk drinks contribute to metabolic imbalance. Understanding your own body's reaction to dairy helps you make informed choices. The goal is not to blindly follow trends like go dairy-free or drink more milk, but to listen to your biology and adapt your habits accordingly. Knowledge empowers flexibility. When you understand food at a deeper level, you start to see beyond marketing messages and cultural conditioning. Food companies spend billions shaping our perception of what's healthy. Words like natural low fat, or whole grain can mislead consumers into believing a product is beneficial, even when it's heavily processed. A cereal labeled as heart healthy might still contain high fructose corn syrup and refined grains that harm cardiovascular health over time. Eating with purpose requires questioning these narratives, reading labels, and knowing what each ingredient does once it enters your body. The more you learn, the more you realize that true health is not found in slogans but in simplicity. Whole, unprocessed, nutrient-rich foods prepared with care. Food literacy also extends to understanding how different nutrients interact. Proteins, fats, and carbohydrates each play distinct roles in maintaining energy and repair, but balance is key. Too much refined carbohydrate floods the bloodstream with glucose, prompting insulin spikes that lead to fatigue and fat storage. Too much animal fat without fiber can impair circulation and digestion. Yet when combined thoughtfully, like pairing complex carbohydrates with healthy fats and protein, you create synergy. The nutrients digest more slowly, stabilize blood sugar, and support long-term energy. Purposeful eating means assembling your meals with intention, thinking about how the ingredients complement one another rather than simply filling your plate out of habit. Understanding food also means recognizing its emotional and psychological impact. Many people use food for comfort, stress relief, or reward, without realizing how those patterns shape long-term health. Processed foods rich in sugar and fat trigger dopamine release, providing temporary pleasure, but leading to dependency and overconsumption. When you learn to identify these patterns, you can replace them with foods that satisfy without harm, foods that nourish both body and mind. Mindful eating becomes a form of self-respect, a deliberate act of caring for your body rather than appeasing emotional impulses. When you eat with awareness, even simple meals become powerful tools for balance and clarity. Cultural traditions also shape our habits, often blending wisdom with outdated beliefs. Some traditions emphasize heavy breakfasts with fried foods and refined grains, while others promote lighter, plant-based starts to the day. Understanding the nutritional reasoning behind these customs allows you to keep the meaningful aspects while discarding those that no longer serve your health. The foods your grandparents ate were often prepared with less processing, fewer additives, and more natural ingredients. Returning to those principles, fresh, whole, seasonal foods aligns you with both ancestral wisdom and modern science. Eating with purpose bridges the gap between tradition and innovation, honoring both heritage and health. Scientific understanding of food continues to evolve. We now know that not all fats are harmful and not all carbohydrates are beneficial. The key lies in quality. Trans fats and refined oils promote inflammation, while fats from nuts, avocados, and fish support brain and heart health. Refined carbohydrates like white bread and sugary cereals cause metabolic distress, while whole grains and vegetables provide slow, steady energy. The truth about food is dynamic, but the guiding principle remains constant: natural, minimally processed, and nutrient-dense foods sustain life more effectively than artificial, engineered products. When you understand this, you stop eating reactively and start eating strategically. Purposeful eating also extends beyond personal health to planetary well-being. Understanding where your food comes from, how it's grown, processed, and transported, connects you to a larger ecosystem. Choosing whole, local, and sustainably produced foods supports not only your own biology, but also environmental balance. The nutrients in your food depend on the soil it grows in, the care given to the animals, and the methods used in production. When you choose foods that honor both your body and the earth, you participate in a cycle of healing rather than harm. Every bite becomes an ethical and biological decision that shapes the future of your health and the planet's health simultaneously. The truth about food is not meant to instill fear or restriction, but awareness and liberation. Once you understand the effects of different foods on your metabolism, immunity, and longevity, you no longer eat out of habit or marketing persuasion. You eat with intention. Knowledge removes confusion, giving you confidence in your choices. You stop asking, "Is this food good or bad?" and start asking, "How does this food serve my body today?" This shift from habit to purpose transforms eating into a mindful act of empowerment. It turns each meal into an opportunity to support healing, balance energy, and sustain life at its highest potential. Eating with purpose is not about perfection, but alignment. Some days you may choose indulgence, other days precision. What matters is the awareness behind the choice. When you understand food deeply, even a simple breakfast becomes an act of intelligence and care. The truth behind common foods is not hidden in complexity. It lies in understanding how nature designed food to nourish us and how modern habits have distorted that relationship. By reconnecting with that truth, you reclaim your ability to guide your body toward health, clarity, and resilience through the choices you make each morning. Each bite